Welcome everybody to another episode of the Tailgate Update, episode 25. Halfway to 50, right? So what do you say we crack open a cold one, huh? You guys ready? All right, let's do this.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Let's start with a return. Le'Veon Bell, once regarded as one of the best backs, if not the best back in the NFL. Eyeing a return to the NFL, hoping for a Steel City reunion. LaDarius, let's start with you. What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting when you look at his time there in Pittsburgh. He had a great run there. It wasn't, the killer with him, Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. When he was okay. It was one of the more formidable trios in the league offensively. Even though how things ended there kind of ended sour, he kind of basically, I don't want to say called the bluff of the organization, contract-wise, it didn't work out. But, I think if he does return, running back is a hard position to just come back, because he's pushing, even in his 30s, we're talking about a guy coming back and trying to have some kind of impact. And I think Pittsburgh's fine they got Najee Harris, they got Jalen Warren. I think they're fine. Like, if you bring him back, I say you bring him back if he wants to, retire, you can retire him as a Steeler for one day and do that. But in terms of, actually being on the field, I don't see, I could be wrong. I just don't see the production that he could add, to Pittsburgh or any other team, despite having a great career. So I just kind of curious to see how teams kind of feel him out. You never know what happens with tryouts, but I don't see the comeback happening given his age and in the position that he plays.
Yeah, I hear you there, LaDarius. I think he's turning 31 this year. I don't see it. I kudos to him for trying to come back. Let's hope this doesn't turn into a clown show for Pittsburgh. But that's my take on it there. Jordan, let's go with you, man.
Le'Veon Bell is turning 31. He's come out to a position which basically hurt him, and he's coming back after basically leaving the team, taking a large deal from the Jets, which turned out to be a disaster. He came from a wannabe rap career in which again caused a lot of drama back in Pittsburgh. I would see that comeback. Unless something ungodly happens to Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, I think the Steelers might as well pick Dalvin Cook for some reason, because again, running back is a dominant position, and it's getting less and less money. So yeah, unless something spectacular happens, Le'Veon Bell is probably going to be there for a retirement tour, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Julie, you want to round us out here?
Yeah, I could have sworn I read an article about his OnlyFans career blossoming later last year. And I think maybe you should invest more in that than football. That's what I'll say about that.
Julie coming in hot already. Oh my God. So my last take on this is, you guys are talking about the contract situation with Pittsburgh. He was franchise tag, 3 years in a row? At that point, I believe that was when the devaluing of the running back position was starting. I can understand he was pissed off, upset. I would be too, But to try to come back at 31 after the way you ended things in Pittsburgh, after the way things went in New York, after the way things went when you went to Kansas City to try to revitalize your career playing alongside Patty Mahomes, just stay retired, man. Enjoy your flowers. People are going to regard you as one of the best backs to have ever played the game, at least within the last decade or so. So, do what you got to do, but I recommend staying out of football, but that's just me. Let's start off with our first guest, LaDarius Brown. LaDarius, why don't you tell the crowd here, our fans, a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. I'll be as brief as possible for time constraints. I'm a featured writer for Sportskeeda for the NFL. I also write for the Forkball. I also cover baseball. I also cover women's sports, WNBA. I cover some of the Olympics. And overall, I just write about sports that I love, and hopefully people will consume it and have me on a platform like this.
And where can we catch you on social media?
Sure. You can catch me on Twitter at LaDarius_Brown. That's both on Twitter and on TikTok. On Instagram, it's tricky. I have to do double underscore because apparently double underscore. There's apparently another LaDarius_Brown on Instagram that I still haven't found for years when I tried to do so. That's a true crime in itself. But
Okay,
I digress. So there we go.
we are on the case. All right.
Wow.
Jordan, introduce yourself. Tell us where you write, your social media.
My name's Jordan. I'm mostly like a freelance sports writer for football, but my interests go beyond that, which is basically through baseball, through basketball, through whatever sports that I can consume as much as I can. And I mostly write for Divine Takes, but like I'm looking to expand anywhere if possible. Well, my social media is basically JC Ramos 617 at Twitter. My at is JC Ramos 6898. And I'm also available at TikTok too. So you can follow that as well. It's basically the same. JC Ramos 79.
You have
Gotcha.
a pretty big platform there on TikTok. I've seen some of them. You get like comments like, "Do this video, Jordan." Like you got some super fans over there. And just so our fans know, we'll have that information in the what do you call that? The description box, so that you can like find it in case you
Yeah.
No, I'll be there too.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to sip number 2 out of the first beer, right? Super Bowl preview. Super Bowl Sunday is this Sunday as we record on a Friday. This video will be launched the day after the Super Bowl, so our preview is going to be meh. But anyways, LaDarius, let's start with you. Who you got, man?
We'll make predictions just so we can embarrass the people who are wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Yep. I like that. I like that. Happens to me all the time, but more than I wanted to. But when I look at this matchup, when you look at Kansas City, this is probably the worst Patrick Mahomes led Chiefs team that's been here. Like, all the narrative you've been hearing about these receivers are terrible. Led the league in drop passes. And, his best receiver is his tight end, an aging tight end in Travis Kelce. But yet somehow they're in Vegas and have a chance to win back-to-back Super Bowls. When you look at the other side, you look at San Francisco, they're both their playoff games, they struggled. And, they had to basically kind of come from behind a bit just to kind of pull up the games, maybe something here and there, especially in Detroit, maybe coaching decisions maybe played a factor in that. But nonetheless, they were pretty good all in the regular season. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense, Kyle Shanahan, coming back, kind of leading the way. To me, if you ask me, I don't know how you bet against Patrick Mahomes because I bet it against him against the Ravens. I'm like, there's no way he's going to go into M&T Bank Stadium and beat that Ravens team, who was probably one of their best. This Ravens team was the best team that could have had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And that Chiefs defense kind of made Lamar look human, which not a lot of teams did all season. But going back to this game, I initially went with San Francisco, but I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes until he loses. So I'm going to go with Kansas City, even though all the matchups kind of semi-favor San Francisco, especially the receiver, quarterback at key units. But I'm gonna go Kansas City until someone knocks Patrick Mahomes. I just don't. This postseason was the right season to knock out Kansas City, and nobody's done it yet. I like San Francisco, but I'm gonna go Kansas City.
Yeah, I hear you there. Good reasoning. Man, I'm torn on this one. I am super torn. San Francisco, but like at the same time, I'm just ready for Kansas City to just fall off. You know what I mean? But Jordan, what do you got, man? Who you going with?
Yeah, this is very hard for me because there are so many X factors for both teams. Like if you want to say this is the worst Patrick Mahomes led team offensively, that's a true factor. Most of like you have like Kadarius Toney and MVS dropping passes left and right, and like being sloppy throughout the regular season. But we keep this like they literally have one of their best defenses led by Steve Spagnuolo, which is like their pass defense was the key reason why the Ravens flopped, but that's also other factors which might be too long. But like I think that's an X factor for Kansas City is their pass defense, but for San Francisco they might rely on Christian McCaffrey's runs. Like the run game might be their biggest X factor for San Francisco. And also another X factor is Brock Purdy. Like he looked, I don't want to say, but like he looked mad during that during the divisional game, but the championship game, like it mostly some of it is relying on being lucky, but also like being confident in your own ability and your own athletic abilities. Like the fact that he can like scramble around for a first down against that pass rush for Detroit was you can't teach that sometimes. You can't teach that. But and he's also even though he's the perfect quarterback for Kyle Shanahan's system. But yeah, like I think oh my goodness, is like even with all these factors, I think Kansas City might win because like not even because of like Mahomes, not even just because of Mahomes. I think their pass defense might give Purdy a lot of trouble, and it given Baltimore, which abandoned the run game, trouble, and Buffalo. Like I think Kansas City might win it.
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Purdy's been carried by CMC, but let's talk about that defense. If you can run against the Niners, you have a fairly good chance of beating them. They definitely should have definitely lost the last two games, absolutely. Yeah. But they did
Detroit abandoned the one game. That's another key reason why they lost.
Absolutely,
the run game
Jordan.
It's all about the run game.
Absolutely, Jordan. You have to run the ball, control the clock, keep that offense off the field. Great job by the San Francisco 49ers, though, to come back in both those games. The only problem I see, though, is both those teams are very young and experienced in the playoffs. So, good job on the Niners to bear down. But, Julie, take us away here. Run us out, huh? Who you got?
Yeah, I think there's some kind of, like, sorcery with the football gods and the Chiefs. So I'm not even going to play around with that. Like, until we sacrifice something, not sure what it is, they're probably going to take it and defy logic along the way because they don't.
Kyle Shanahan is probably sacrificing his father. 28-3, that blown Super Bowl game. He's probably be like, Dad, I gotta take you out.
Okay.
Kyle does have some demons to exercise in this game Sunday. Like you said, 28-3. He was the offensive coordinator for that. What was it? 10-point lead he blew against Kansas City in 2019. 10-point lead he blew against the Rams in 2022 or 2021, excuse me, in the NFC Championship game. Last year, lost like 4 quarterbacks. This is Kyle's game where he can prove that he is that top 3, top 2 coach in the league.
This is the game.
But
Julie,
because it's Mahomes, so
don't be saying shit like that, Julie. You might jinx us.
How the fuck are you gonna try to come up in here and tell me what I can and can't say?
You're gonna jinx us.
Back all the way up.
You need to go sacrifice a live chicken, okay? You are killing us with this. You're gonna jinx us. Stop it. All right. So with having said that, I think I'm going KC. I just like Pacheco. I think he's a hard runner, and you can't bet against Mahomes because the league loves Mahomes. So, anyways, moving on to sip number 3 in the first beer. The grass versus turf debate is back again on the show. I know Julie's sick of it.
Yeah, we've already been discussed it like through and through.
I know.
I even brought
No.
up injury stats. Like, what more do you need?
It's popped
grass.
up again. It's popped up again, Julie.
What's the new
It popped up.
argument?
I think it popped up again because like the MetLife is changing the turf to like the grass for like for FIFA.
Yeah.
So
But again, it's grass
It's
because
yeah,
because
yeah.
MetLife turf had taken a lot of people's like careers. You can go back to Aaron Rodgers. You can go to like.
Wait, so that's why we're
goodness.
discussing it again because New York is changing
No.
their grass.
Well, actually,
Turf to grass.
we're discussing it because it popped up again with the NFLPA. So NFLPA's the hell's his name? Lloyd Howell says 92% of players want grass fields over turf. Okay. He goes on to say it's really basic on Wednesday in an NFLPA news conference. It's not rocket science. 92% of our union wants grass. That's compelling. The bottom line is it's unquestionable that our union wants to have a working condition where they play on grass. Howell said data collected by the union showed injuries occurring on a slower rate on natural grass fields as opposed to artificial turf.
Yeah, duh. The NFLPA always fights for stuff that's super obvious that they need it, and then like the NFL is always like, no, because money, and then and then we end up, and then eventually there's like some kind of compromise, but it takes a while for it to kick in. Like, we know how this works. The NFLPA has been saying stuff for a minute now.
I hear you. LaDarius, what do you think, man? I've never gotten your opinion on this, so we haven't. We just want to know you.
Mine's just is short and simple. Listen, we've seen too many injuries on turf field. And when you talk to some of the players, I don't know if it was Travis Kelce or someone, they talked about the impact it takes when they're getting off, when they're trying to go out in routes and they have to kind of put their foot down a little bit more differently. Their footing is different. And that makes a difference. And that also can lead to injuries. So the mere fact that we're having the discussion about grass and turf, it should be more about you see the numbers, we all watch the games. It should be very obvious that, hey, we need grass. Like, I'm not, injuries can happen on grass too, but not at the rate that we've seen on turf. Like, I don't want to go through the list of injuries, but listen, we saw, I don't know if it was Sterling Shepard who tore his ACL. Yeah, we saw it. We've seen enough to say that it should be obvious that we should try to protect these players. It's already a dangerous sport as is. But if the turf takes you out, then that's just another element that just adds more concern to players who are like, no, we're good. Give us grass. This should be obvious. A lot of these guys grew up playing on grass, and this turf, and the 8% who want turf, that's their prerogative, that's their opinion. But listen, numbers show, and have shown over the last 5 years, and we can go back further. We'll just use the last 5 years as kind of like the standard. We've seen enough. And it didn't help that Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Arguably, that didn't help the situation either. Like, okay, we got to do something. It should have already been done. And the fact that we're having a discussion about grass, like it should be simple and it should be obvious.
Yeah, you might be able to say the same thing about the concussion protocol, but that took more than 20, 30 years of them hiding the research, hiding the numbers. And even when they did bring it out, it was a total joke. I watched a Super Bowl in 2010. No, I guess it's 2011 because it was the 2010-11 season. It was already there for a year and nobody got called out once, even though people's heads were cracking everywhere. So it's a sham. It's a joke. They don't want to do it because it affects their bottom line. The NFLPA has to show the obvious reasons why it's a problem for 100 years. And then they have to be like, oh no, and come up with bullshit excuses for why the NFL picks the 4 people in the league who think that turf is better, and then they'll highlight that, and then they'll just eventually they'll have to compromise, and it'll take a while. Again,
it's really it's no progress. It's like things that are obvious. It's like to your point about the concussion protocol. I think what we saw with Tua Tagovailoa, we all saw as fans that doesn't look good. when he got up and he kind of just he looked out of it. We don't have to play the game
Yeah.
to see that he looked out of it.
Yeah, it was his back my ass. Do I
Yeah.
look that dumb? Was I born yesterday? Did I just
Yeah.
fall off the pumpkin truck? I know what a back injury looks like.
Right. Yeah. And like no,
That
yeah.
there was shit like that happening later in the season that year too. I mean,
Yeah.
they said that Stafford suffered a concussion and then turned around and said, "Oh, it wasn't a concussion; it was his neck causing concussion-like syndrome symptoms."
My man, that is
I mean,
not neck injury.
it did. They said that he didn't get concussed until he didn't feel it until after the game. So
That's
like,
what they always say.
Yeah,
But like
like-
you can go back to, I mean, obviously when it first began, even 2011, like a total sham. Like a sad excuse of anything. It was a joke. Okay, Russell Wilson said it when he ate the grass. I forget what game, but he said it was like a total joke, their protocol. So like it took a long time. The NFLPA kept advocating, we need spotters, we need more spotters. They have to be independent neurologists. Like they have to like do one thing at a time and like baby steps and like keep updating, and the NFL fights the whole way because they don't actually care about the players, and we know that.
good point, Julie. Good point.
I know.
So to wrap this up here with the turf debate here, 4 players on the NFLPA's executive committee: Calais Campbell, Brandon McManus, Michael Thomas, former safety for the Bengals, not the receiver, and Austin Eckler, all agree that turf sucks. Okay, Eckler even joked saying he was talking about the turf tape he has to wear and how much he has to wear it when he plays on synthetic grass because it burns him. And he said, quote, "You bounce a little bit different off concrete, rubber, and plastic than you do off grass and dirt. It hurts. Turf is a lot harder surface." So
I'm gonna need him to
he's-
take that up with the people from the 60s and the 70s who, when they hit it, it felt like an actual cement wall because the padding was like this thick. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, back in the day things were harder. My point just being is that like it took them forever to go to soft turf because the stuff we have now is like so
Oh my
much
God.
thicker. Like that stuff, they said it felt like a cement wall. It's like because it was a cement wall with a tiny like little padding over it.
it was literally like an inch of padding
Okay, like
on top of concrete. Are you kidding me?
yeah, but he's not wrong, and I'm not saying that like their opinion isn't valid because it wasn't back in the 70s, but like yeah, we know this. Like we know it hurts,
So-
okay?
He's coming at it in a different way, but he also said when it comes to my legs on turf, you stick. On grass, dirt, you move a little bit. So it's the accumulation of of the little things, he said.
Yeah.
So he's got a different reasoning for it, but either way, why? Come on, grass, turf sucks.
Because
Always has.
we already been talked about this because then they wouldn't be able to have like music people or whatever do like they wouldn't
Right.
be able to reuse the fields for like, you know, performances and stuff. if
Yeah.
it's
You know,
grass.
concerts and
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of money. So, like, end of story. We already know why and how and why it's going to be so hard to get it to change. Okay, like, boom, boom, done. Ryan,
I hear you. I hear you.
we've been talking about that. Okay,
Well, Jordan and LaDarius have not been able to. Okay.
okay.
All right. Let's move on to the next part of our smooth beer. Eagles are opening their season on a Friday in Brazil next season.
Hmm.
The first game to take place in Brazil ever. Yeah. So their opponent is undisclosed at this point. I'm sure it'll come out probably in March when the schedule gets released. Well, anyways, Spain is also set to host the first NFL game in 2025.
Ooh.
So we go to Brazil and Spain in the span of a year.
Ooh.
Well, 2 years technically. No teams were announced for that one yet. My question to you guys is the international schedule getting a little out of hand here? Let's start with Jordan. Start with you.
If you want to talk about like 9 a.m.s in like in New England, in like back in Britain, that's like okay, people are gonna probably wake up around that time. They're gonna miss it. They're gonna miss it. which is like, okay, fine, it's gonna be a bad game. But like to me, the international schedule is like it's gonna happen because like they want to like at least spread around the world. They want to go around the world, like. But like to open the season in Brazil, it's weird to me. But like as long as like they get to like expose the world of like American football to Brazilians, that's like it's fine to me. Like if it's going to Australia, then I'm like, yo, come on, dudes, come on.
I hear that.
Like that's the part that will be like, okay, that's out of control.
Yeah,
because
it is. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
It's. I'm torn on this. Starting the season in Brazil, it sounds a lot better than traveling there in week 10.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're getting a bye afterwards or before. So
exactly, like
I can see it more so rather than going to London in week 10 and then having to stay there for 2 weeks, like Jacksonville did last year.
Yeah.
Or this season, technically.
Yeah.
But, this is the first game that the Eagles will be playing internationally.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they played in Munich, didn't they? Or is that? No, that was Seattle, wasn't it?
I think that was Seattle, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it was Seattle and Tampa Bay. Okay,
Seattle and Tampa played like last season. This season was Indianapolis and New England.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So this will be the first game they play since 2018 internationally. They'll be played in Sao Paulo.
Oh
São Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
São Paulo, Brazil. And
my bad.
Brazilians are probably going to go wild.
The play.
Flag?
Yeah.
My bad. My pronunciation was off.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on, Julie.
Okay.
Yeah, Brazilians are going to go wild for the tush, but they were like this. Oh my God, the tush pushes!
Well, that's if the tush push is allowed. Who knows?
It'll be loud.
Who knows?
Yeah,
who knows, Jordan?
But still.
Yeah. So, like I said, they'll face an opponent that's to be announced. LaDarius, would you like to answer the question? Is the international schedule getting out of hand, man?
If you ask Roger Goodell this question, he'll tell you no. But for obvious, fiduciary reasons. But to me, I don't think it's outrageous. It's just, I think my thing with the football, it's just like when you look at the major sports, I never really considered NFL as global. Like, does it have a global reach? Yes, it does. But if you tell me, like, I think of the NBA, I think of, like, even Major League Baseball, you look at, I think international, with the NFL, I think they understand that they have to actually go to these places. They have to kind of do what they got to do to kind of build something, like going to Germany and these constant, going to the UK.
Sure.
Going to Brazil is interesting. It's obviously one of the biggest countries in the world, population wise and area wise. I don't have a problem with it, because if the objective is to grow the game, and they've invested in growing the game, they have like international, like they're trying to get international players. Like you see rugby players becoming punters. You try to see them come over here and try to transcend their games in the NFL. But to me, I don't have a problem with it from the perspective of if it helps to grow the game, because the NFL, as much as a multi-billion-dollar business, is not, when I think of a global league, I kind of put them behind baseball and basketball. So what they're doing, going to Brazil, like the earliness of it, did I have Brazil on my checklist? No. I mean, it's not the worst place in the world to have a football game. There are worse places around the world where you can have an NFL game at. There are also better places, but if the penultimate goal is to kind of get the international vibe to come, into the league, I'm all for it. Obviously, it's kind of it's money at the end of the day, multi-billion-dollar league. But I'm very curious to see how it works out in Brazil, because it's been successful in the UK. Germany was a success. So I'm curious to see now that we're going into South America to see how that plays out. And I think it should work out fine, given that I'm pretty sure that they're not going to send, hopefully we don't get like a Colts Patriots type game we're sending over across the pond
Mm.
Like here from America, I'll give to you is this, and hopefully we
Yeah.
can hopefully we can
You
get something a little bit better to kind of, because I think that's the goal, to have good games over there to kind
yeah,
of
if it's a
cross
shootout,
over
they're
there.
gonna love it.
Yeah,
If it's not, they're probably right.
yeah. Like the Chiefs
Yeah,
Dolphins game was good, so it's like it generated a nice little like interest. So that's why I'm kind of curious in that regard there.
absolutely. Julie, you want to round us out here?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm vaguely apathetic about it all, but if I had to say, I'd prefer Brazil over Europe.
So I figured out why I couldn't say Sao Paulo. They spelled it wrong in the article. They spelled it Paolo. So that's why I was a little.
That is how you spell it.
But it's not. I typed that into. I copy and pasted it into Google. Okay, and they spelled it Sao Paulo. Paulo.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not dumb.
Don't
I
worry,
promise,
Ryan.
folks.
They won't. Don't worry, they won't crucify you, Ryan.
I'm not stupid. I promise.
It's gonna be fun.
They won't. They
We're
won't
gonna be
crucify you
fine.
yet. They'll crucify you when you make a bad take.
mhm.
Okay, well, let's go on to our next smooth sip. Commanders fire Eric Bieniemy after 1 year, replacing him with Cliffy Kingsbury.
Mm.
And now, mind you, this was announced during Dan Quinn's introductory press conference as head coach.
Mm.
Question to you all: is this the appropriate time to announce such a move? LaDarius, you want to start us off?
I can let Jordan. I'll yield my time for the latter to Jordan to get the ball
Yeah.
rolling.
You see, as a fan of a rival, you love to see your division rivals just make dumb move after dumb move after dumb move, even when their shitty owner left, and sold the team to Josh Harris. They gotta trust the process. Trust the process. God, like,
All
God,
right.
the Commanders, like they took a step forward with their owner, and then they jump out the window because you hired Dan. Like they want to hire Ben Johnson or Mike McDonald. Ben Johnson was like, from reports, was basically like has his concerns and went back to Detroit. So they just sell with Dan Quinn, and like you have 20 reasons to trust him, but three of them they're like no.
Oh,
Like,
stop it! I
Ooh.
see what you did there. That's fiery.
That's why his
That-
TikToks are
and
so
that-
good.
Like you hired Dan Quinn, who has like who's good in coordinating, but then like you see his last game in which they got blown the fuck out by one of the young playoff teams I ever in my memory, in the Packers, and you hire the air raid master, the one that coached Mahomes in Texas Tech and had one with him in Cliff Kingsbury, and most of his offense is basically like air raid screens. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Kyler Murray says it best. Schematically, we're fucked.
Exactly. Like,
so I don't know I don't know what they're gonna get from Cliff Kingsbury, who's been drinking Mai Tais next to the hotel beach. But
exactly. Thailand. He took a journey to Thailand.
Yeah, took a little specific kind of tourism trip over there, and now he's feeling lighter and ready to go.
Eating cake off his wife's booty, but whatever.
Yeah.
His wife.
Like,
that sailed out the window.
As a fan of Division Rival, I love it. All
right. Well, while you bask in the glory over there, LaDarius, take it away, bub.
Well, let me preface by saying I'm a Falcons fan. So I immediately got the message. And listen, I don't want to talk about it any more than anybody else is.
Okay.
So yeah, I lived through it. I don't.
As a Saints fan by proxy.
Yeah,
Mm.
We're not going to talk about that last game either because listen, I'm going to tell you like this. I wasn't even upset about that game because you know what? I wanted Arthur Smith gone. I would have went to Norman and be like, listen, if you put up to 60, I don't care. I don't I don't care. Like it, good get the third string guys out there. I don't care what you gotta do. Get the bonuses. Get that check. But anyway, back to this. You know, the situation in DC with Cliff Kingsbury, listen, he was initially supposed to be the Raiders offensive coordinator. And then somehow this guy said, I'm gonna go, I'll be the commander of those. So he went from a position which I think with Las Vegas, where it was more of an interesting situation because here's why. They're in a position they could have the offense like also it's not always about Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. To me, I would rather have that job because sometimes it's not always about money and all of that. I don't think the issue was money with Cliff, contract wise, which was the initial report. But then you go to an organization. Sometimes the structure matters, and then you go to the Washington Commanders, and who hires a retread, and who I know all too well, in Dan Quinn. And listen, if the last thing we saw of Dan Quinn was his defense, that top 5 defense, get demolished on national television, not on local cable, not on Peacock, not on the streaming service. We all saw it. And that's the last game. And then Washington said, that's our guy. Because here's the thing. Ben Johnson, people say, oh, it was the money. No. Ben Johnson saw that situation and said, thanks, but no thanks. When you're a top head coaching candidate, it could be the NFL. It could be any job in life. If you're a top candidate, you can be choosy. You can be picky. Ben Johnson said, why am I going to leave this Lions team when we were a great offense? Why am I going to leave this and go to whatever it is in the nation, whatever it is going on over there? And then for Dan Quinn to be at the podium to say, hey, Bieniemy, you're done. We're bringing in Cliff. That's worse. Because listen, let's be clear, Eric Bieniemy was not the problem in Washington. He was not the problem. I've always been a defender of Eric Bieniemy. It's like, listen, go look at Sam Howell's numbers, and go look at what he did the year. Go look at how Washington quarterback. Go look at those numbers. And Eric Bieniemy was not the problem. The reality is, the coaching was terrible. This team traded away. We're going to give up on our 2 best defensive players and say, you know what, we're just going to. So they were doomed to fail. And then you bring in a guy. Mike McDonald said, I'll go to Seattle, thank you. And then Ben Johnson just said no thanks. The whole takeaway with Washington is simply this. I know Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn has never been the same coach, and I can say it because I'm a fan. He was never the same coach. When they lost that Super Bowl to New England, he was never the same coach. And we talked about with Shanahan earlier, like certain mental demons and things like that. That for Dan Quinn, the last time he was the head coach in this league, and there's a reason why Atlanta said thanks, but no thanks, they got rid of him because he was never the same coach. He goes to Dallas, does great. But the last thing we saw was, all I saw was Jordan Love celebrating, and I saw a bunch of head downs on the Cowboys sidelines, and somehow Mike McCarthy kept his job. That's a whole different conversation.
For now,
that's a whole different conversation.
It's a whole different conversation. Like listen, if Mike McCarthy doesn't get anywhere near wherever, we've seen this all. So, but to wrap up the point, if you're a Washington fan, if you're listening, you're watching, look, I don't know what to expect, but we've seen Cliff Kingsbury's offense. We've seen it in Arizona. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The question becomes, what do you do at quarter? Do you go away from Sam Howell? What do you do? Because there's a reason why everybody got fired. So you got to figure it out. And then you go with Dan Quinn trying to make a first impression. You basically announce that, hey, Eric Bieniemy, you're not off to the great. I thought the change of ownership was supposed to kind of change the culture, which was the bigger issue in Washington for numerous reasons. And then we get Dan Quinn standing up here,
Hmm.
who got cheeks were clapped on in a playoff game, and gets this job, and he's telling you, oh, by the way, that guy, that enemy guy,
Ron Rivera 2.0.
yeah. So basically, we went from here to here, nothing new. And I don't know what the expectations are in Washington, but I'll tell you right now, forget Super Bowl. Just be lucky.
Tank ball, baby.
Just be you'll be having a lot of top 10 picks for the next under Dan Quinn, because he didn't learn anything from Atlanta. I like I said, I don't think he's still the same coach that he was. There's a reason why. And this press conference was absolutely awful, and this is stuff what happened under the other guy, not the new gun under Josh Harris. Magic Johnson should have came on the stage and did something and stop him. Magic, do what you do, take the microphone and say something. But
absolutely.
I'll leave it there.
I like to add on. I don't think Bieniemy wasn't the problem. He wasn't. Like some of his scheming was a little messed up, but that's mostly because the offensive line was bad.
Yeah.
And Sam Howell is not, like, you all have hype for Sam Howell. I saw his games against Buffalo and the Giants. He was not good.
Yes.
He was not good.
And the thing is, statistically, he looked better, which is not saying a whole lot. But he looked.
Yeah.
And Eric Bieniemy just basically he had to make Sam Howell look like something, and that's what we got, like top 5 passes. So that's what we got. But now under Dan Quinn, you're bringing Cliff Kingsbury, who took a number 1 overall pick and got Kyler Murray, and we all see, injuries aside, we all saw what happened there. Because listen, the air raid offense works in college. The NFL,
it does not work in the NFL.
They're just going to run dime and nickel defenses. They're not. You made anybody on this show can be the defensive coordinator if you're coaching against Cliff Kingsbury.
Exactly.
Just run nickel and dime packages.
And also, wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm about to add, like, Kingsbury was also like one of the coordinators in USC. Was quarterback for USC? Kelly Williams.
Yeah.
Washington had the top 2 is number 2 in the draft. They're gonna try to get Kelly Williams.
Caleb Williams gonna be like, do I have to go? He's gonna be like that guy. He's like,
no. He's like, I love you, Cliff. And then a year 2 later, he's like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. His bag because 2025. He's like, I gotta go.
Absolutely. Julie, you want to give your thoughts on this? Run us out here.
Yeah, the Washington Commanders will get theirs. And how you treat people matters.
Love it, Julie. Love it. Yeah.
They're going to get what they fucking deserve. And guess what?
I totally agree, Jordan. I totally agree. Time and place, not the right time to do it. Let's move on to another NFC East team. Cowboys are hiring former Vikings coach Mike Zimmer to be their new DC.
I think Zimmer he was the DC for Cincinnati. I think he was with their coaching staff.
Yeah,
back in the day.
I think I don't know if it was under Parcells or under I know he was on the defensive coaching staff with the Cowboys before.
He was under Parcells, I believe. Yeah. So, they found their new DC, I suppose. I don't know what Mike Zimmer's going to do, but when he was in Minnesota, the defense is pretty damn good. So, Jordan, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like, if it's like his last couple of tenures, they'll do well, but they might, like, I don't want to say they'll fall apart because, like, his last year in Minnesota, that they were really underachieving with Zimmer.
Yeah.
So like that's what I get, but like that's not my worry. My worry is about the clowns that are still calling the offense and the head coach. The fact that you still kept Mike McCarthy, that is hilarious. And they're gonna run the same damn hamster wheel and lose again in the first round at home.
Like we said before, for now.
For now.
LaDarius, you want to give us something here on this hiring?
I think Jordan kind of, Mike Zimmer, he's proven to be a great defensive coordinator. Like, you go look at his work at Cincinnati, He's under Marvin Lewis. You look at his body of work at Minnesota. Like he's a fine defensive coordinator. But now the question is going to become like the issue was never with defense with Dallas. The issue was an underachieving offense. And like I think Mike Zimmer's going to come in. He's going to do a fine job. I don't.
Mhm.
I'm not going to sit there and say he's going to be terrible. But listen, Cowboy fans may not like it, but listen, the problem is with Mike McCarthy. It was never because basically what happened, it's on the other side of the ball. It's like Kellen Moore, you got to go. This is all about Mike McCarthy taking over the offense and calling it the Texas West Coast, on which I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means. That it's the double. I don't know.
It's trying to be a mix of like his old West Coast offense that he did with Green Bay.
Yeah.
Problem
Which I'm
is
like-
you don't have Rodgers under center to run that freaking
Right.
offense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
You have Dak, which he'll do, which is good, but like he's not elite.
yeah. So like I said, Mike Zimmer's a fine hire. I think a defense is going to be fine when you got, hopefully Trayvon Diggs will be healthy. We don't know about DeMarcus Lawrence. We got Vander Esch. These guys will be healthy. They're going to be fine. But Dallas's problem is always going to be, can we get the offense right enough? Because that defense looked, I don't know if we can keep saying cheeks on the show, but they were cheeks. They were bad. And that's the last thing we as fans saw and said, man, this Dallas defense was supposed to be great. They were undefeated at home. You're being a Green Bay team that's kind of limping into the playoffs. And Jordan Love looked a lot like Aaron Rodgers that day. And so basically Mike Zimmer's job is to not basically, assuming Dallas still does great, is not to basically what happened this season happen next season when you get into the playoffs. Win your playoff game. Don't get embarrassed, especially if it's at home. Don't get embarrassed because Dallas had a team this year that was good enough to kind of contend, but for them to kind of struggle and look bad against no disrespect to Jordan Love and what Mike,
One of
what
the
Matt
youngest
LaFleur-
teams to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, with a young receiving core, with everything young about that defense, and then Joe Barry, we talk about Joe Barry's defense, like, oh, Packers defense was terrible. It looked pretty good that game. Like, Joe Barry's out of a job, but
Yeah, definitely.
but he
Darnell Savage got a pick 6
yeah,
from Dak. That you have to fix that. You have to fix that offense. You have to fix whatever you can because I think they're running mostly zone defense or like
they're not really man to man. They're really a zone defense, and that's what made it look worse. Is that
absolutely?
So I think Mike's gonna be fine. He's gonna do what he do, but it's just about not to have what happened this year happen next year.
Yeah, definitely. Julie, you want to round us out here real quick?
No, I don't have anything to add to this. We already talked too much about this.
Okay. All right, let's go to the award winners.
We're good. We're good.
Award winners.
Yeah.
Last night the NFL honors was announced.
For all Tom Grossi fans, I know we were all excited when he got Fan of the Year.
well earned. It was well earned.
Okay. I know,
So,
that was a sweet moment.
30, you go to
AP
30 stadiums. Oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah,
So
he
You
did
go
the
to
30
30
stadiums,
stadiums.
raised
in 30
$500K for St. Jude's. Like,
Good for him.
It was damn near respectable.
yeah, he's a real genuine guy. Like, seems like a really sweet guy, and we need more of those around. So, like,
Mhm.
we'll keep him.
All right, let's start at the top here. AP Most Valuable Player was awarded to Lamar Jackson last night. Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski.
When
Mm.
they said Steven Stefanski, because they had that little mix up with his.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, is this the Oscars? Like, what are we doing? Like,
I know.
do we not learn from the biggest award show that we're doing the NFL honors? I'm like, I guess is that his cousin, Steve? Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Comeback Player of the Year was awarded to Old Man Flacco.
Came back from the couch.
Got off his couch, stayed up past 8:30.
He-
Plays 6 games and gets Comeback Player of the Year. AP Offensive Player of the Year goes to Christian McCaffrey. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Myles Garrett.
Mm.
Rookie of the Year goes to CJ Stroud. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Will Anderson Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So Houston holds both Rookies of the Year.
Two faces of a franchises.
Let's
Like,
let's start off with a brief thing here. Who got snubbed? Who do you not agree with? Jordan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm sorry, LaDarius, but like,
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry,
I
LaDarius.
was thinking. You're good.
Yeah, I'm
Go for it.
like,
I was thinking
like,
out loud.
I'm always okay. MVP Lamar had a great season. I can't complain there. Like, you can complain. Oh my God, what about McCaffrey? It's a quarterback. It's a quarterback reward. Like, unless like you do some really unreal statistics, it's always going to be to the quarterback. But my complaint is like it's comeback player of the year, because I'm like, okay, Joe Flacco, you had 6 good games. You played bad with the Jets last year. Okay, and Damar Hamlin literally came back to life.
Oh God,
and, like,
here we go.
He came back to life, and literally was, even though he's a healthy scratch most of the season, he's like, okay, it was going to him. My thing is like, what about Baker Mayfield? He literally played like shit last year, and literally people were doubting his future throughout the season. And to have this season, to have like a comeback season, I think Baker should have won it.
I thought it should have been a coin flip between Stafford and Baker, because they both came back from some shit 2022s. I'm really shocked Hamlin didn't get it.
Yeah, me too.
Really shocked. But really, my gripe is with Defensive Rookie of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year MVP area. I thought McCaffrey should have got MVP. I mean, he's carrying that San Francisco offense. He almost had damn near 2,000 yards from scrimmage this year. I mean, I thought it should have been McCaffrey, and I thought Kobe Turner should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year over Will Anderson Jr. They were very close in stats, but Kobe played 17 games. Will Anderson played 15, and they were pretty even.
They're mostly going to look for the more sexy stat.
Oh, I mean, Kobe Turner had 9 sacks,
and like it should have been DeMeco Ryans. Like, he literally, like, you could talk about like the Browns injuries, the Texans injury. They're mostly kept together by shoestrings and bubble wrap throughout the season. And DeMeco Ryan, first year, brought a team that nearly won the Tank Bowl last year to the divisional round. That's damn near impressive. Even though I think Stefanski is well earned too.
Yeah. When I looked at the nominees for Coach of the Year, I was a little irritated that Shanahan was in there. I mean, what the hell has he got to do? Like, he's coaching
the records.
Definitely, that's pretty much what it is. You know, I kind of figured the Offensive Rookie of the Year was going to be a coin flip between Nakua and Stroud. But go ahead, Julie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's abundantly clear, because they had all the members of the 5 Point Vids, because I was on That's Good Sports fundraising stream last night during the award show, and I think it's really clear that not everybody has, like, a lot of people have a different concept of what the Comeback Player of the Year means, because like Scooter thought it was like the equivalent of the NBA's Most Improved Player. Somebody else thought that it had to be you're coming back from an injury. Like, somebody thought that it didn't have to be an injury. Like, I don't know if we all have like a super clear perspective of what exactly we're coming back from, because if it was based just on injury, it would probably be DeMar, because he fucking died. And then, but like, it's also not supposed to be most improved. So like, I think to me, it's pretty clear that like, as a fan base, that we might not have a consensus on what it actually means. So if they could clear that up for us, that would be really cool. But I do love Flacco, like I said before, because he makes me feel like I can do things like I was younger, even though I can't. So like always appreciate that. Um and can do it
Why
with
do
a
you?
dad bod too, which is like, yeah. But anyway, yeah, like for the most
It's that
part,
dad bod, baby.
right?
Stop it.
For the most part, I'm pretty like okay generally with like people getting the awards. Who was the Walter Payton Man of the Year award? I think I missed that one.
It's Cam Hayward.
Oh,
Yeah, it was Cam. Yep.
that's cool.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, like I would have just argued for D'Amico Ryans and like, but that would have been about it. Like, cause I don't really get like real up in arms about that kind of stuff. Okay, like they have a voting thing, and like I guess that there's like 50 votes, and 48 of them were for Stroud, and 2 of them were for Nakua. I thought that was
Seriously?
funny. Yeah.
I thought it'd be more even than that. Wow,
Oh
that's
no, no,
crazy.
no. Yeah, and so like Flacco, it was kind of confusing because they could pick first, second, and third. So like I think Hamlin had more first, but Flacco had more votes overall. And it was like, I think we need a little bit more transparency in the voting system too. That's clear to me because I don't even know who the 50 are. Um, but like, yeah, so like I have a few comments about like the administrative side, okay? But like generally, I mean, like, makes sense to me what they had. I just would have liked Ryan's better because like the thing that he did is really incredible, and to have like um a black QB and a black head coach and both of them being rookies at the same time, like creating this kind of
Culture.
amazingness, like that doesn't happen every day, and we need to like highlight that kind of thing. And I don't think that you should just kind of shove that under the rug because it just doesn't happen every day or ever actually. So like, I was annoyed by that, but that's about it.
Okay. LaDarius, you want to wrap us up here?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just piggyback what what was kind of said, but kind of like what Julie said. Like we have to understand the impact of what happened in Houston, because like that team is built for success for the next decade. They're that good. I think when you look at D'Amico Ryans, former player, did a, and you look at C.J. Stroud, and there was always a
Former
debate between,
captain.
yeah, and we're talking about a rookie with the presence of a guy who's been around five, who's like a veteran. And then you get D'Amico Ryans, who's the kind of coach that lets them play. And that's pretty and I think that's important because like nobody had like people thought that this was another rebuilding year in Houston. Like we all thought, okay, first year coach, rookie quarterback, they're gonna show some flashes, they're gonna be great. But what they did was literally first season, we're in the playoffs. So now, and they go, and they played well for a while against the top seed in the conference, which says a lot there. But other like that to me is like my biggest issue. But other than that, I think, like I said, we have to have like some more edification on what are the qualifications, because we still have people, we're still talking about like, well, people complain about Lamar, and I say, well, when you look at the most valuable, and listen, and I get those who say, oh, McCaffrey should be MVP, but I always go this, have running backs won this award in the past? Absolutely, they have. But my thing is that when I look at valuable, I say if you take them off the team, how is that team going to be? If you take Lamar Jackson off the Baltimore Ravens and you're stuck with Tyler Huntley, like where are they going? Like if you take McCaffrey off the 49ers, will the 49ers struggle? Sure, but they have Debo, they got Ayuk. It's a system. And I'm not criticizing Shanahan's system. I'm not criticizing the system. But if you ask me in that regard, is valuable. Like for this season, Lamar was a valuable part of the success of the Baltimore Ravens. Not saying McCaffrey wasn't, but there's a difference between being the MVP and being the offensive player of the year. There's a huge difference. Lamar Jackson, I believe he didn't have 30 touchdowns this season. I believe the year he won MVP, I think he led the league in touchdown pass. So so there you go. Like I tell people, you figure that out. I don't get paid enough to do it. None of us do. To figure out, well, how did he win MVP here and not there? But
I'll say I think people have been hating on Lamar since he got into the league.
Yeah.
And I won't speculate as to why that might be, because I don't want to
have
get.
a theory.
I have speculations and theories.
I have a theory.
I have a lot of theories. I don't really know if we want to go into those because y'all know. But so I think I don't really have a lot of time for Lamar haters, and I think they need to reevaluate themselves and how they view people.
Yeah, and like I'll say this. I know Julie can. I'll say it. Here's the thing: when I hear people talk about, oh, Lamar's a running quarterback, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? So what was Josh Allen doing? When I see Josh Allen run and make plays, it's funny I don't hear that same narrative. I don't hear that same narrative. You let Lamar go out and have 100 yards rushing. Oh well, he's a running quarterback. Josh Allen has those type of runs, and I don't. People are like, oh well, he's trying to help his team win. What in the hell do you think Lamar Jackson's trying to do? Just trying to do it for his health? Just running for calisthenics? What is he doing? Just running for his heart rate? He's trying to help his team win too. And this narrative, and you still have people out there saying, oh, Lamar. Listen, if you didn't learn Lamar was an MVP, people like they wouldn't believe you. Like you have to remind people he's a 2-time MVP, and we're still having a conversation about running quarter. He's shown you he's got paid. He's the franchise quarter. If you can't deal with it, I can't help you. I can't help you because here's the reality. Just say what you say. Because I got a conversation with somebody about this. Just say what you say with your whole chest, not half of it, not a quarter of it. Not 3 and 6, none. Say it with your whole chest how you feel. Because if you don't like Lamar as a quarterback, I can accept that. I can accept that. But when you ask people why they don't like him, they don't give you numbers. They just say, well, I just think no. But yeah, you talk about Josh Allen, all I see is numbers flashing at me. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. Go look up Lamar's rushing numbers, go look up Josh Allen's rushing numbers. Go see who the 2 more runningest quarterbacks in the league have been, and go look at headlines. You know, it's right. Go look at the headlines and see the conversation because I never seen Josh Allen ever be called a running quarterback. I've never seen it, even though that's what he does. He had multiple rushing touchdowns this season, but yet we don't have that narrative, whatever spin on it. And talk about this man like this man was not a Heisman Trophy winner in college. We know this man like he was an MVP. He was one of the youngest players to ever start a playoff game. And yet here we are. We're nitpicking numbers. We're nitpicking because you're not saying what you really want to say. Because if you don't like Lamar the player, I can respect that. I've gotten an argument with somebody. If you don't like Lamar the player, I can respect that. Being a writer, being a fan, I can respect that. But when I ask you the question on the back end, well, why is it that when you go look at Josh Allen's numbers, he runs, why don't you say the same thing about him? And then I get silence. I don't get a response on social media. I don't get anything when you ask me that question because listen, people, because I said, what more does Lamar have to do? What more do other people have to do to show? Because look, Lamar's a 2-time MVP. He doesn't need 30 touchdowns to prove it. He showed you his value this whole season. Because ain't no way on God's green, beautiful earth that Tyler Huntley is leading that Ravens team to the top seed in the AFC. I like Tyler, but it ain't happening.
He doesn't have like the way he speaks, the way he carries himself. He's not like curtailing himself to what America perceives. And I think people have a problem with that. It's a I didn't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry, but go ahead.
It's a massive problem, and people had a big problem with him getting paid. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you guys had no problem signing the check to Josh Allen. So let me check my notes. I believe Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson have the same number of Super Bowl wins. I'm checking notes. I believe, but yet when we have the conversation with Josh Allen, we think Josh Allen deserves the money. He's great. But when it comes to Lamar, who wants to pay for a running? I say, I'm like, just say this. It's like it's simply like this, and like Julie hit it on the head. The way we look at the quarterback position is we don't look at it the same way, even when we scout, in the way that we talk about them, because it's always. I mean, I tell people go look up, like even with Michael Vick had his success. Donovan McNabb You can go back even a little bit further than that, like Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham, those guys, like who kind of set the tone for what we see. Lamar doesn't have to be any of them. Lamar's job is to be Lamar.
And
And
I will
sometimes,
say, oh, sorry.
oh, you're okay. And sometimes someone like Lamar, with his background, people already put him in a box already the minute he was drafted. And then when Ozzie Newsome took a chance and traded back up in the first round, it was Ozzie Newsome's last first round pick he ever did as the general manager, and said Lamar Jackson is the guy. And that people are like, well, wait, what? He fits the culture of what Baltimore is. John Harbaugh doesn't have a problem with it. If John Harbaugh had a big Lamar Jackson problem, John Harbaugh would have tried. He would have had no. He would have said, you know what? I think Lamar needs to be traded. I think he needs to move on. But what did John Harbaugh, when he goes to that podium, he does what a lot of coaches don't do, which is defend their quarterback. Don't hang their quarterback out to dry for a bad game. For this, thus, and so, and Mary had a little lamb. So the fact that when people have the nerve to say, when we talk about Lamar and we're picking at how he looks and how he dresses, just because you don't understand it, doesn't mean that your opinion, everybody has an opinion. It doesn't mean that you're right about it.
Yeah, so that's why I say you need to evaluate yourself on a deeper level if you have a problem with him and really think about it. Like get real personal with yourself. And
right. I interviewed someone who wrote an excellent book about the history of black quarterbacks. And we got into this discussion about like going back all the way to like guys like they had to they weren't accepted then because a lot of them were running backs. And then when they started playing quarterback, all of a sudden they were like, oh, we can play quarterback. And then when Doug Williams did what he did in the Super Bowl, they're like, oh, we can win with those type of quarterbacks. You always could. It's just that somebody need to give us the opportunity to do it. Everything in life is about someone giving you the opportunity to do something.
You don't even get me started on this because we'll go back to Fritz Pollard because I'm a big football historian.
So I'm like, when we have those conversations, I'm like, and even with Russell, I don't know if we could still do it. No, we proved to you we could. Just say what you want to say. And like, just say how you feel. Listen, it's like at the end of the day, that's going to be the issue with Lamar Jackson. And as I root for Lamar to win a Super Bowl, and to go and take that microphone, let him have the microphone, get your sensors ready, and let him speak his mind, because he's been trying to tell all of you for years he could do it. It's just folks out there have their reasons and their agendas. I'm sorry, Ryan, for hijacking the show here. Me and Julie.
You're good. You're good.
No, man. I was letting you have it. I was letting you have it, man. But we should probably move on to the Hall of Fame class.
Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah.
Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis, Steve McMichael, Mongo got in.
Yeah.
Mongo.
And Randy, what the hell? How you pronounce his last name? Gradishar?
We'll take it.
That sounds
good. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Judges, ding.
All
right,
them served.
We'll take it.
So they all got in. So congratulations to them. My one little critique. Where the hell is Torrey Holt? Why is this man not in the Hall of Fame already?
I could point out a bunch of people too that I think should be in the Hall of Fame.
Is Antonio Gates in the Hall of Fame? I'm checking.
No,
he's not first year. That's
Gates didn't either.
That's the one that shocks me the most. It's like he felt like more, and I understand like there's a voting thing to it, but it's like his numbers are pretty good, especially for a tight end. He's
top 5 in like every tight end thing. Yeah. But Torrey Holt, I mean, Isaac Bruce in, Marshall Faulk's in, Orlando Pace is in, Kurt Warner.
Everybody's in.
Torrey Holt,
Dick Vermeil's in the Hall of Fame.
Torrey Holt was honestly, he might have been more valuable to the Great Show on Turf than Isaac Bruce was. Not in. His numbers are comparable to those of T.O. T.O.'s in. I mean, yardage-wise, T.O. played longer than Torrey. Torrey only played 11 years. Yardage-wise, they're about 1,000 yards off. T.O. does have more touchdowns. I mean, Torrey didn't get as many touchdowns his first couple years in the league. But I think it's a mistake not putting in Torrey this year, especially when Devin Hester is primarily a punt returner and kick returner. I mean, it took forever to put a punter or even a kicker into the Hall of Fame. So why is Devin in now?
Yeah.
maybe next year for Devin, but
It-
Torrey should have gotten it this year.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be next year or the year after, which is
Definitely.
yeah.
So, Julie, you got anything to add, or you want to move on?
I have some general bone to pick with the HOF selections, but just one person, so I'll just leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again. Bones to picks.
No,
Bone. I got
Is that-
bones to pick.
Is that your Bayou accent you just pulled out?
I
Your
don't have one of
Louisiana,
those, but I
Louisiana bullshit.
okay. I don't have one of those, but I did have a little Alabama. Maybe that came out. I don't know.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I live so many places right now.
God,
Jerry, she was a swamp person, so
she wasn't that far south, but yeah.
Yeah, I was a swamp human. Yeah, I just came out of the muck for this. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
She's
kind
gonna
of
go
All right.
back-
All right.
When the show's over, she's gonna go back in and then she just comes out for this, and then yeah.
I came out from Mardi Gras, but
Well, yeah.
We comparing Julie to like the Loch Ness monster now, or what?
that was all you.
no,
Oh.
we're compared to Saints fans.
Oh, now, sir.
Hey, I'm a Saints fan by
Jared-
proxy. You can't be talking like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least she's
No,
winning.
I'm doing it for Darius. He's seen enough Saints fans in his lifetime.
I've seen
All right.
enough.
All right, let's crush that beer out. Let's move on to the next one. All right, here we go. MLB. The Dodgers are bringing back Clayton Kershaw. The deals of his agreement are unknown at this point, but he will be missing some of the season because he's coming off shoulder surgery. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe Clayton's coming back for one last year, one last hurrah. Comes back. I don't know if his timetable is.
I think it's like 2 years, basically. Like it's basically like a year or two because he was fine. Like he was fine last year.
Mm.
It's just that the rest of the Dodgers pitching staff was injured, which is why they signed
Shohei. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Not,
so
the Shohei's not even pitching. I think
no, Shohei can't pitch till next year.
yeah.
Yeah. So Kershaw is coming off shoulder surgery. He'll miss at least the first half of the season. So maybe
Yeah.
he comes back for a season and a half, retires a Dodger.
One of the best one of their best pitcher, one of the best modern pitchers I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Absolutely. Dodgers, I mean, they got Glass.
They're gonna win.
They got Yamamoto.
No, they're gonna win. Yamamoto. That's why they signed Yamamoto. They're gonna win
Yeah.
120 games and somehow lose to an 87 win fucking either the Diamondbacks again or like the Giants. Hell, they'll lose to another 87 win team,
Probably.
and we're all gonna laugh at them.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on from that one.
Mm.
The Astros are making Jose Altuve a lifer. He just signed a 5-year extension worth $125 million to stay in Houston.
Probably because they
One of
lost
the best
those
Astros.
contract with those underage Dominican Republic kids
Stop it.
that we talked about last
Yeah,
week
so-
because they can't figure out how to
Astros and-
verify ages.
Yep, that's why we love going to South America. That's why we love going to Latin America.
Look,
But yeah, one of the best. One of the best.
it's not even
Astros-
their fault. Like
Mhm,
they
yeah.
had a picture of like where and I'm not at all an advocate for this loser, but Wander Franco, they had a picture of where he grew up, and I'm like, yep, I would probably lie about my age too. So I'm not picking on them, but like the MLB can do better. They have how much money and they can't figure out how to verify an age. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this deal for Altuve brings him to his age 39 season, and they'll probably be the end of his career if he chooses to retire.
Yeah.
39 years
One of the
old.
best Astros. One of the best Astros. One of the best Astros. One of the best players they developed from back when they were in the Central, and then they went to the AL West. Like he became his own. Like even with the scandal in 2017, like even that mucked up his legacy. Like he is still one of their best players that they developed. They molded him, and like I just can't help but to respect him, even though I'm begrudgingly respecting him.
Yeah, I hear that, Jordan. Oh yeah. So
Mhm.
Altuve got paid. He's there for the next 5 years. His deal doesn't kick in until next year, though. He
Yeah.
was going into his free agency year. So he ranks top 5 in all Astro stats career all time. Good for him.
Well,
okay, what's next up on LB's docket? We got. Here's one.
A friend of mine sent me this. I want to take the lead on this. It's basically like the Las Vegas mayor basically saying, "Hey, keep them in Oakland," because
I was just about to talk about that. Yeah.
Why the? I'm sorry, about to have a large rant. Why the fuck are you trying to move to Vegas when even Vegas is saying, "Ooh, nah," because you're trying to get the hype that the Raiders had. You're trying to get the hype that the Golden Knights have. Like John Fisher's net worth is like around like $2.9 billion. Yet he can't keep them in Oakland. Yet like, it's just mind-boggling that this idiot really thought it was gonna work out. Like he really did think this through. He didn't think this through at all. Like they're idiots. Like the executives.
So the mayor.
Sorry,
she says, "No, you're fine. You're fine." The mayor of Vegas. She's not too keen on the stadium plan. That's why she wants them to stay in Oakland. She says it doesn't make sense and should find a way to stay in Oakland. So this has already been passed by MLB, PA, MLB, all that good stuff, right? Did someone not tell her that the meeting already took place and they're already moving to Vegas?
Exactly. Like
sounds like something she probably should have said back in like October.
Not even that. Like Las Vegas is saying they don't want you, but they're being forced to. Like
pretty much.
They're like it's going to be a disaster.
The nightmare that happened when the Raiders moved to Vegas, because we got Henry Ruggs, Alvin Kamara's breaking people's faces. Like, did they not learn from what happened when we brought the NFL there?
Julie, they're not in their own. They're in their own fan. They're probably tourists all the place. Every fandom is like, I want to see what the Raiders are doing. Like it's just a dumb decision. It destroys Oakland's history in baseball. Like it's just
not really. Still there. But
they're gonna be there for another year, and then they're like saying, "Yo, fuck y'all, I'm out. Peace."
Let's hop over to Kansas City. Let's hop to Kansas City, boys.
They're having a little problem with the age scandal too over there.
Stop it. Let me talk first.
Why does that get you ruffled up every time?
Yeah,
because you don't let me talk. You just go right to it. She just goes right to it. God dang. Okay. The Royals are extending shortstop Bobby Witt Jr. on a lucrative 11-year deal worth $288.8 million. LaDarius, do you think this is too soon or is it well deserved?
Look, I love the deal, and here's why. He's 23 years old, and you don't want him to go to the free agency market where I can argue that this deal low-key feels like a bargain. If he goes, I mean, to get him for that, and then listen, his last 2 seasons, like here's what he's done his first 2 seasons: a 265 batting average, 76 RBIs. He gets, he hits the ball well, 463 slugging percentage, and almost 770 on base percentage. Like Kansas City needs the face of the franchise. This is the guy. He's 23 because they understand this. The longer he stays, and if he had another great season going into this season, that number could eclipse the 300 million mark, and then he would have been like, it would have been out of Kansas City's price range. And so they would have been forced to do something. So doing this now it does 2 things. It's a great preventative measure, and also he has the potential. He's the face of the franchise, and at that price, you take him up. He's 23, and the deal, he won't even be. He'll be in his mid 30s. Close on the latter side of his 30s. Why not? I love the deal, and especially for an infielder of his caliber. Yeah. You take the deal. Kansas City knows what they're doing. They understand. Build around him and get it right.
Maybe do a personality
100%.
evaluation first, because I heard somewhere where they said investing in young players like Wander Franco is a great example of why you don't do that. So just make sure
No,
you
thank.
got a perv.
Oh no.
If-
Exactly. They're gonna change their mind. Don't invest in Ron Franco. Invest in this guy. But like, it's a great deal. Like, as long as it doesn't screw up, it's a great deal because like, phase of franchise, you get him for until like his mid 30s. You have to, and there's a chance like they might use the rest of that money to like build around him, or something. I want to say like train, but like, but still, like, it's a great deal for Kansas City. I love it, and yeah, hopefully they build for the future. Like,
Yeah, I absolutely agree. He was an all-star last year, right?
I think so.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. They need somebody. They need a mainstay in Kansas City right now. They haven't had one since Alex Gordon was there and Eric Hosmer. Sally's still there. Sal's there.
Yeah.
He's aging. Almost feels like he's not even there because he's very under the radar. But yeah, Bobby Witt, definitely that guy that they can build around, and whether they do it or not is a different story.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Anyways, I think that that wraps up beer 2. No, we got one left. One more thing left in beer 2. Former Mets GM Billy Epler suspended through the 2024 World Series for fabricating injuries. You guys ready to hear about this one?
Yep.
A lot of teams do it. That's all I'm gonna say. Like Epler did it. That's fun. Like, a lot of teams do it.
Jordan, let me enjoy the tea though. I like a little scandal.
Okay, so So he was suspended by Rob Manfred through the 2024 World Series on Friday, today. Who concluded that he directed the team to fabricate injuries to create open roster spots. No Mets medical or athletic training personnel were mentioned in the announcement by Major League Baseball. Manfred, in a statement that Epler directed, said the deliberate fabrication of injuries and the associated submission of documentation for the purposes of securing multiple improper injured list placements during the 2022 and 2023 seasons. Oof. The scheme involved fabricating injuries for up to a dozen players. Sources told ESPN's Jesse Rogers. Sources also said that an anonymous letter from within the organization tipped off MLB. So to your point, Jordan, with everybody does it, well, apparently somebody had morals and turned his ass in. Turned his ass in after a dozen.
Exactly.
The 13th time was what did it.
That seems a little bit extra. Like, I could maybe see a few snuck under, but
yeah.
So the baker's dozen. He's like, nah, that's not like
exactly. They need more at bat for Vogelback.
Stop! Vogelback is so bad.
God damn it!
Man, his form is so big he can't even do up his batting gloves. His form is so big.
Yeah, exactly. He's a decent DH bench bat, but like, he's not your primary lefty DH. Like, what the fuck? Sorry. Yeah. Like, the fan in me is probably going to talk about this too much. But like, let's move on, please. For love of Christ, move on.
All right, so we got the deets on that one. LaDarius, did you give your opinion on this already?
Oh no, I'm good. I was just here like Julie. I was here for the tea and to hear all the.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll crush that beer out. That's beer 2. Crush it out. We'll pop up beer 3. Starting to get a little tipsy here. Just kidding. Beer 3 coming up.
I'm gonna
we'll get tipsy Sunday.
I'm gonna bring these bottles to the local store around the corner, and they're gonna give me 5 cents a pop.
Definitely. All right, so beer 3, we got NHL, our first sip. The Oilers streak ends at 16 straight wins after a 3-1 loss to the defending champs, the Golden Knights, on Tuesday night. So,
isn't that the team that Perry got signed on to?
Yes.
Rich Perry, that's the thing.
Corey
Perry. We talk about him a lot in the True Crime section.
Capitals Evgeny Kuznetsov to join player assistance program. So this is the second. I think it was the second or third player that we talked about, Julie, going to the Players Assistance Program.
Who?
The NHL Players Assistance Program.
Yeah,
remember?
I know. Who's the second player?
Kuznetsov.
I know. We talked about
Kuznetsov.
Line last week. Evgeny Kuznetsov for the Capitals.
I don't think we've
Yeah.
discussed him at all.
Well, he just entered in this week.
That program is busy because they have a revolving door. Because we're
So-
gonna talk about we've been talking about Lucic like every week for a while now.
Let's take our next sip here. Lightning's Sergachev has surgery to repair broken leg. No timetable for on ice return.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that I seen where his leg went in directions that gravity does not approve of.
Yeah, I saw the hit, and they
It's
never
hockey.
showed. They never showed the actual like injury, but I saw the hit, and it was awkward.
I was just impressed by
Yeah.
what I heard
So he
because
was-
people were freaking out from what I heard, like when it happened, because it was kind of like a Joe Namath type situation. Like, oh Lord, how did it go that way?
Yeah, actually, when he got hit, he laid on the ice, and his teammates were automatically calling for
Yeah.
the trainer. He was carted off. Had surgery. I guess everything's fine for right now. Mason Marchman. Anyways, he's fined $5,000 for bloody hit on Leafs Jake McCabe.
Yeah, see
That's the
story,
one
that
you're-
was some clickbait because they had the story about the guy with the broken leg, but then they had a picture of a guy with a bloody hand towel, and I was like, I just put the two and two together, but I guess they were clickbaiting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of red stuff there on the ice there.
So Jake McCabe was bloodied on this hit. The fine of $5,000 was actually the maximum allowed for this type of thing under the league CBA. So if they could have fined him more, they would have. So that's
We always like to acknowledge a little red stuff on the ice, especially since it don't happen as often as it did in the 90s. Catch my article where I talk about the 6 favorite things that I loved about 1990s NHL.
why 6?
I just picked my favorite 6
But why 6 though?
because my creativity inspired me to do 6.
Oh, you just had to be different. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's all about
Alright.
that sits.
Five wasn't enough. That's why.
5 wasn't enough.
No.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give Julie this beer bottle so she can take it to the Redemption Center, and then we're gonna crack open another one. Okay.
There we go.
All right. Beer
Mhm.
4 coming at you.
Y'all paying for my dinner next week.
Oh yeah.
Nah.
30 cents is really gonna get you a nice steak and potato dinner.
Mhm.
All right. So the NBA, 76ers Joel Embiid to miss 4 weeks at least with knee surgery to repair meniscus
That
in his left knee.
that's.
Is
I
this
always
a,
feel like.
sorry, Jordan.
Oh, no. You go right.
Just
You go
finish
right.
real quick. Is this a big blow to the 76ers playoff hopes? They're sitting in the 5 seed right now.
If you want my personal opinion, I believe so because like a tournament like they don't really play a physical game, but like they still need like I feel like Joel Embiid always gets injured at the worst time. Like he
Yeah.
this tournamentness. I want to say it's a major in, but like it's a big blow because like they're very dependent on him. Like they might need to depend more on Tyrese Maxey. They might need to depend more on like other depth players to like carry the load, but like most of that load is mostly carried by Joel Embiid.
Mhm.
In which when she's having a very good season, but like I don't think it's gonna kill them, but like it's gonna hamper them down like to at least be like around this 5-6 seed. That's my opinion.
So you're saying with 4 weeks without Embiid, they'll probably sit where they are right now. They'll stay.
Yeah,
They'll
they'll
hover?
probably stay. They'll probably hover around. They'll probably around like the fifth and sixth seed. Like they'll probably hover around. Like
Okay. LaDarius, what you got?
Well, look, my thing is this. Joel Embiid, I think they're going to stay hovering, like Jordan said. But here's the thing. The 76ers, without Joel Embiid just this season, they're 4-12.
Mhm.
while they put up a lot of, they average 112.3 points per game, but however, they give up almost 119 points per game. Now, I think if this was if listen, if the Sixers played out west, I'd be more concerned. I'd be like, it's all hands on deck. We're in trouble. But listen, I believe they added Buddy Hield. So
Yeah.
So now adding that dynamic, I think they'll be fine. And then I think the goal for the Sixers is once, Embiid gets healthy, you get that 1-2, and then you still have Tyrese Maxey, so there might be a little bit more load on him for the next month or so. From the scoring standpoint, him and Yield, I think they'll pick up the scoring there. The bigger concern will be the interior, obviously. So I think with the roster as is, like if they were out west, I'd be like, oh man, they're in trouble. But since they're in the East, I think they drop no further than the six. If they go beyond that, I'd be shocked. I think the goal is, and fans will probably say, listen, when you lose a guy like Embiid, if we can kind of stay where we are, 5-6, like if we go beyond that, it's danger zone situation. So I kind of feel that while they struggled this season without him, I think adding Buddy Hield kind of helped because they're going to need more scoring, obviously. And, Maxey can only do so much. You can only lean on him so much, but the question is going to be what they're going to do in the interior. But I think, Nick Nurse, I think they're going to be fine. They're good 5-6. They're not going to fall. Like I think the team, I think like the Pacers or maybe the Pacers are there, the Magic are there, but I think 76ers roster is good as is to kind of maintain that 5-6 seed.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty insightful. All right.
Like,
Julie, you want to add anything?
Nope.
No? Nay? Okay.
Yep.
Julie has nothing to add. Wow. All right, let's talk about All-Star Weekend. That's coming up next weekend. Weekend of the 17th. The NBA to play certain events during All-Star Weekend on LED glass court. Are we in or out on this idea? LaDarius, let's start with you.
Oh boy. Listen, I get it's the all. Let me preface this. Let me preface by saying this. I get it's the All-Star game. You want a big, bright, you want to bring attention. I think it can work if it's, I'm assuming it's been tested. I'm assuming they're not going to be like, hey, we put it in, guys. Hey, you guys figure it out, And you're like, all right, guys,
Right.
have we tried it? Have we tried it out? Well, we don't know. You're the test guys. You'll figure it out. So I think it works. I think the NBA, I as someone who loves All-Star Weekend, maybe the dunk contest, maybe not so much anymore. But I love
dud.
yeah.
It's a dud contest, not a dunk contest.
Like I'm a big 3-point. Like I like the skills in the 3-point competition, and so like I'm more excited to see that. I think the LED just adds even more to that. I think the NBA kind of with the All-Star Weekend, they kind of get it right in that regard. They get it wrong in a lot of other departments, but that's a whole nother. I used up my time. Me and Julie used up our time on the Lamar Jackson rant. So
Okay.
so we used it. So that time has been used up.
We only get one.
We only get one. So
everybody gets one.
I like the idea because it brings more of an aesthetic. It brings so yeah. I'm assuming it's been tested and it's fine. That's why I'll say yay.
I'm hoping it does because they got a bunch of talent up there. Just let mess it up. Like that's gonna be an expensive game. Okay, if they break everybody's legs.
They hand Adam Silver the bill. Oh yeah, I'll take it. Oh.
Yeah, he can afford it. He just got an extension.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just where's the cheapest hospital around here? No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. No, I'm serious. Cheapest.
I'm mixed on it. I mean,
yeah.
If you're gonna do it for 3-point competition, sure.
Yeah. Like the dunk contest, I don't need it for that. I don't need it for that.
No.
No.
All right. Let's move on to the next step here. The first of 3 Black Mamba statues unveiled outside Crypto.com Arena. Kobe Bryant's first statue unveiled last night.
Wilson posing with it.
Yeah.
With Sierra. I was like, oh.
Wow.
It's always gonna be Sears to me. It's always gonna be Sears to me. Never Crypto.
Staples, yeah. It's gonna be
Staple. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
It'll always be Staples.
It's always
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even go back further. Like I like Great Western Forum. Like I'm the old. I remember like with the Great Western Forum. I'm like I got used to Staples, but
when I grew
But
up, it was always Staples Center when I grew up. So
yeah, same.
how
Look,
old are you?
I didn't
80
watch,
Kobe's-
but I'm sure if I did, it would have been at the other one.
Yeah.
Kobe's widow says if you have any problems with this the statue poses, Kobe picked it out. So tough shit.
Aw,
So
that's
Yeah.
really sweet.
good for her. Good for her.
She's been through enough, that poor lady.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Anyways, let's move on to the next step here. The Hornets trade PJ Washington to Dallas for Grant Williams and Seth Curry with a lightly protected 2027 first round pick in return. What do you think about that, LaDarius?
What's a lightly protected pick?
That's what I'm thinking.
As opposed to a heavily
Yeah.
protected pick.
I have no
got-
idea.
Like
It's-
I
I
get
think-
like lightly salted chips. I get that. Like
Wait,
when you're telling me like a
Mm.
lightly protected. Oh, sorry. What kind of pick? Can we get the lightly protected pick? What about
That's
the, what
the
about the,
other
what,
side,
what about the
man.
heavy one? I don't know.
yeah,
That's a deal breaker. I can't give you
yeah,
the
like
lightly one. You're
what?
gonna want to take it. If we get Seth Curry, all right. Yeah.
Really, Steph Curry? Really?
Seth Curry is like,
Yeah, Seth, really? That's-
yeah, it's like
Oh, I thought they said Steph. Man,
yeah. Oh man.
I messed that
let
trade
me-
up.
more-
Let
It's
me
more-
go
it's
talk.
more
let me
like-
go talk, yeah. Let me go talk to somebody. I'll be right back.
Oh God.
Who put Steph in? Oh no, sorry, we didn't know the team mattered in the name. It does matter.
Yeah. So
It matters between our salary cap. It matters.
they're getting a
Yeah.
lightly protected 2027 first round pick as opposed to a heavily guarded
A
27
heavily,
pick.
Fort Knox protected first round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Anyways.
I love those.
the next bigger trade, I guess you can call it that. Raptors are trading Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young to the Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie.
All that for Spencer Dinwiddie, really?
Yeah.
Spencer?
Can we pull up
So,
the numbers, please?
he-
Did Toronto flub this one up?
Flubbing is putting it in a very nice way.
Yeah. Flub,
That's putting
like,
Yeah.
He's like, did the assistant GM make this trade? Because I don't. Did an intern make this trade? Because I'm pretty sure.
That's exactly why I put this trade on there.
Mm.
I put
Damon
the trade-
Sproul
I
feel
put
like
this
they're-
on a napkin.
I feel like the Raptors are in hell right now. They're in basketball hell. Like, they're
Yeah.
just in this purgatory where, like,
Yeah.
hey, we're not too good to compete, but, like, we can't tank. Like, they can't tank.
Yeah. They're like, oh,
And
we
the Nets
really
are-
want to, but like, oh, we can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
We got to be competitive
And then-
to a certain degree.
And the Nets are in hell. Like, most of their draft picks are still in middle school, so.
Oh my God. All right.
Like, they're in
so
hell. They're in hell.
Are we done making fun of the Raptors for that?
I mean, fine city. I'm assuming, but
Mhm.
that's just awful.
Okay.
Toronto's nice, but like, oof.
It's like trading a bologna sandwich for another bologna sandwich. That's what basically what we.
Exactly.
Did they? I don't know. I feel like they traded a bologna sandwich with barbecue chips on it for just a piece
A
of
regular bologna sandwich for a prison one.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Or-
That's even. But yeah, it's the more.
Yeah.
Was there a difference? We're not going to get into that. But the point is,
Exactly.
you'll love this sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Let's move on here. Yeah. SEC are going to distribute $50+ million to each school for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Comes out to around $2 million more than last year. How's that grabbing anybody?
It's not.
It's not.
Nope.
It's
Yeah.
I
Well-
would say surprise, but I'm like, it's.
yeah. Yeah, like they're all, like all the schools are going to new division, new conferences. Like,
So the SEC is going to distribute $741 million to its 14 member universities. It's about $51.3 million per school for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. League said the total included $718 million distributed directly from the SEC office and another $23 million that was retained by members for football bowl game expenses. Yeah.
Bowl games were magical. Now they're just
They're just there.
Just
I mean,
there. Yeah.
for Vanderbilt, it's different. But everybody else, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. So, I guess that doesn't grab anybody.
No,
That-
I mean, if you're a Vanderbilt fan, there's a little bit of hope. But other than that,
I
Yeah.
guess so.
we
Like
can make a bowl game. We didn't say all of that. We didn't.
Mhm.
Here's some money to figure it out. That's what we're trying to tell you.
All right.
yeah.
So there's 10 cents towards Julie's dinner that she plans on buying with the Bottle Redemption Center money.
Mm. We don't have a bottle redemption center. It's just like the corner store.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah,
just-
it's too cold to be out there in the sun. I mean, they're
Exactly.
in the sun, but if there was, it'd be too cold.
Yeah, I'm not going outside. We need. What about
Exactly.
the crops? We can get more. We get more. We can get
All
more
right,
crops.
let's do this last beer here. Last of our 6-pack. Seattle Mariners are claiming Cannon, Smith, and Jigba off waivers, making Seattle in Jigba country as Jackson Smith and Jigba plays for the Seahawks. So brothers will be playing in the same city.
You love to see it.
That's our odd
Yeah,
world. That's
it's-
our odd world of
That's
sports right there.
it's such a nice story. It's a nice story, but like it's just so random yet it's so heartwarming at the same time. Like
Yeah.
It
And
is-
it's a great
At-
city too.
Sure, I've never been there, but I'll take your word for
me too. It's
it.
it ran a lot. They're very passionate about the sports team. That's about it in Seattle.
Yeah. You know, I want to go catch the fish. That's what I want to do.
Oh, everybody always
yeah.
talks about the fucking fish.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a big deal until I was like,
Well,
until I left.
it wasn't to me
Yeah.
either until I was like, oh, I'm not. But I like fish. It's the only real seafood I can eat. So I'm like, if I can catch what I eat, that's fine.
Yeah,
by
but
me.
you don't. Yeah, but you don't actually catch it. Like only the people who work there throw it and then catch it.
Oh well, you know what? I'm pissed off now.
Because they're not just gonna have
Mhm.
it. Because what if it hits the ground and you don't want to buy it anymore? Like they only have like these people practice this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a YouTube tutorial
You're
out there.
gonna
on
you're
the
gonna
flight
fillet
there.
the fish. Why does it matter if it hits the ground?
I don't know, but I never seen it go to anybody else but another employee ever.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have to pay
If
a
you
lot of
tackle
money.
the employee and take the yeah.
Yeah.
Note to
Oh
self.
well,
Kim.
that's it for our 6-pack, Julie.
Yep.
Mhm.
And all right, so
You want to shoot it to our two
make
guests?
sure to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, and make sure to check out our guests. We're gonna have all their social media in the description of the video, and let us know what you think. We like to hear all. We love fan interaction, so let us know.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah, please comment and tell us.
how
Or
wonderful.
tell-
we are.
Tell us how wonderful we are.
Tell us how it wasn't a disaster, but like it went well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got there. We got there.
Mhm.
Kind of like
Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like basically that was it. Like, oh, how did the podcast go? And then he did his thing. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. See y'all
So
next
those-
week.
So those wings.
All right, nice talking to you again. All right, hope I'll come by again.
Absolutely.
Likewise.
Absolutely.
Great being on.
LaDarius has frozen. Is it just me? Did everybody freeze?
Spelled it P. They spelled it PAOLO.
Oh, we're still recording.
Apparently, he's addicted to the booger sugar powder, flour.
I don't know